Hey guys, today we're going to work on TEKS 7A, analyzing and evaluating the evidence of common ancestry. I want everyone to circle that, evidence of common ancestry. Now there are 5 pieces of evidence. Go ahead and write those 5 pieces down in your do first. Go ahead and pause the video now to do that. Okay, so at this point, you should have already done your do first, so let's go over it and make sure you know them. The first piece of evidence, or one of the pieces of evidence, is DNA. My pen is going to take up more space, so make sure yours only takes up a little bit space. Now remember, DNA, the more DNA you have in common, the closer you're related. So closer equals more DNA. Again, more DNA. There we go. Now, the second piece of evidence, or another piece of evidence that you could talk about, are the homologous structures. So again, for your homologous structures, they are going to have the same structure, but not the same function. So same structure or bones, but different function. So they won't both be used to fly or both be used to swim, but they will have the same bones. Okay. Another one is that biogeography. That's all about where you live. Oops, there we go. The closer something lives or by each other, the more closely related they will be. Okay. We also have our developmental evidence, that embryology, the fact that chickens and horses and frogs and humans all kind of develop the same or look the same in the embryo. And our last one are the fossil evidence. So the fossil evidence, the oldest fossils are going to be found at the bottom. So bottom is the oldest, and the youngest fossils will be found at the top. Okay, now we're going to look at our first most commonly missed question. This graph right here, the first thing I do is always look at the title. So I'm going to circle the title to remember to read it. Now it says, scientists compared the number of amino acid differences, ooh, that's proteins, between multiple species in a protein called chromosome C. Their results are shown below. Okay, so I'm looking at the number of differences. So if I'm looking at the number of differences, I know that more differences means that they are going to be less related. So more differences equal less related. Okay. Now, let's find the conclusion for the best evidence. Now, there's no data here, so I'm just not going to worry about that part. I don't have to worry about it. They don't give me any data. I'm not trying to figure out the data. Okay, so let's see. It says Ferris and Polypus, and it's okay if you don't know how to pronounce those, are the most closely related. They have 21 differences. That feels like a lot. They're probably not the most closely related. Next one, it says Africanus and Ferris are the most closely related. So I'm going to look at their number. Ooh. They only have 1 difference. That might be possible. So I'm going to cross out A because we know that that's wrong. Now, it's not telling us anything about evolution, like if they evolved from each other. It's just telling us about relatedness. So we're going to take out C because that couldn't be the answer. And this also is telling us about DNA. It's not telling us about their environment. So we're also going to cross out D. So then our only answer we have left is going to be B. That's how I work through those STAR questions. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, we have our last 2 questions here. Let's go over the top one. It says, lemurs are a type of primate with over 100 different species, ranging in size from 1 ounce to 20 pounds. Different species of lemurs share many common traits, I'm going to underline that are only found on the island of Madagascar. It also sounds like they live close together. So their common traits in their biogeography, there's our 2 evidence, right, suggests that all lemurs do what? So every time I see the word biogeography or common traits, which is probably talking about those homologous structures, then I know that they're talking about common ancestry. So I'm going to find the one that says common ancestry. It's not any of these ones. It's definitely going to be A. It's not D, even though that's talking about closely related, because it's not telling us about the other primates. So make sure you don't fall into that trap. Even if it sounds like it could be right, double check the work and make sure it didn't give you those answers. Now our very last one that we're going to go over. In 2010, scientists excavated a skull fossil that provides evidence of a newly discovered species of big cat. Based on the evidence, scientists hypothesized that big cats branched off from smaller cats about 6 million years ago. Which of these resources did scientists most likely rely on to form their hypothesis? So again, this one is asking about common ancestry. So if we're talking about common ancestry, we're going to try to find those pieces of evidence, those 5 pieces of evidence. Food web, showing feeding relationships. That's not a piece of evidence, so I'm taking that out. Population migration data for small wildcats living in the ecosystem where the skull was found. Again, that's not really telling us, that's not one of the evidences we talked about. The fossil record and DNA comparisons of big cats and small cats. Those are both pieces of evidence, fossil and DNA. Let's check the last one. It says the historical record of interactions between different species of cats. Again, not one of the pieces of evidence. So our answer should be H. What I want you to do now is go ahead and finish the back page. You have 3 questions on the back page. Make sure you answer all 3. We will do a grade in class. Remember, you get a grade for the front, making sure you copied all the notes, and a grade for the back. See you on Tuesday. Bye.